So such a good idea.
Jesus Christ, what the hell is that?
10 abandoned but gripping sci-fi horror movies from the 80s and early 90s. When filmmakers combine in-depth creative sci-fi elements with the primal fear that horror evokes, the final product is a match made in hell. Both these genres come together to create unique and thought-provoking experiences that viewers remember for a long time. With all-time classics like Alien, The Fly, and The Thing, audiences have gotten a taste of what a sci-fi horror mashup can offer. But besides these popular movies, several hidden gems have unfortunately been missed out on. This video will show you a list of such titles from the 80s and early 90s that will blow your mind. Before we go into our list, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click from you, but it means a lot to us. Thank you. Let's begin. Project METALBEAST, 1995. In 1974, Donald Butler, an ambitious soldier, investigates a Hungarian island castle with his young colleague. According to the CIA's classified data, there's a ferocious man-eating werewolf that lives there. Their mission is to extract a sample of its blood and bring it back for METALBEAST, a project designed to create an army of soldiers with werewolf-like abilities. The plan moves at a tedious pace, and they eventually run out of werewolf blood. Therefore, Butler injects the remaining blood into himself, which causes him to turn into a werewolf. He then runs around the CIA facility on a killing spree until he is shot with a silver bullet by his boss, Miller. Miller covers the whole thing up and has all the bodies, including Butler's, cryogenically frozen. 2 decades later, a team of medical scientists is attempting to find a way to create artificial skin that can help during a skin transplant. They are approached by Miller, who offers them several human subjects for testing. Alessandro De Gaetano's Project METALBEAST does not strive to reach the same levels of an American Werewolf in London or The Howling. Instead, it is a film with self-aware, unabashed schlock that should purely be watched for entertainment and thrill. It deserves credit for coming up with a unique concept on the werewolf horror genre, along with a classic dose of creature feature sci-fi. The film envisions an alternate version of the post-World War II era, where real werewolves have been discovered. This is precisely what they would be used for. It portrays intriguing, relevant themes such as man-made destructions and corrupt authoritative personnel, with METALBEAST representing how human beings often think that they can play God. The special effects were schlocky and delightful. Several viewers wondered why a synthetic-skinned werewolf was a fresh outlook within werewolf lore. The reason is that it makes the silver bullets impenetrable, giving them an extra edge over their human targets. Finally, the film portrays a clear-cut juxtaposition between forward-thinking ideas that would progress the scientific world and traditional ones that would make most people in today's day and age roll their eyes. Nightmare City, 1980. Dean Miller, a principled political reporter, and his wife attempt to escape hordes of bloodthirsty zombies in a small European city. These zombies were formed after people there got exposed to nuclear radioactivity. The military is fighting a war of attrition against the undead creatures as the citizens attempt to flee with their lives amongst the havoc. Nightmare City, directed by Umberto Lenzi, presents a thrilling opening sequence, setting the tone for a fast-paced movie. It is an unleashing of violence and fantastic camera work, keeping a large group of infected humans with Hercules-like strength in the midst. The film created an immense uproar in the 1980s for giving zombies a new edge, since up till then, the undead were conceptualized as corpses that were resurrected after death. Lenzi incorporates an innovative sci-fi element by making nuclear radioactivity the cause of their state and bloodthirst. Moreover, Nightmare City zombies don't just appear to be mindless creatures walking towards their prey. They contain the mind and skill to plan their attacks while also using weaponry. In certain ways, the film incorporates aspects of Italian exploitation horror, where despite questionable acting and iffy special effects, the gore, violence, and out-of-the-ordinary storyline make it extremely watchable. Altered States, 1980. Eddie Jessup, a graduate student, is known for his outlandish, brilliant, and often crazy experiments. He conducts one with an isolation chamber where he uses himself as the test subject. Due to his experiences in the chamber, he begins hallucinating, with most of his visions being based on religion despite him being irreligious. After 7 years, he becomes a well-appreciated, respected Harvard professor who believes he has lost his edge for experimentation. Deciding to resume his work about sensory deprivations, he once again uses his untested hallucinogens. In the experiment's initial phases, he claims to have entered an alternate physical and mental state. Although his colleagues and wife Emily don't entirely believe him, they are highly concerned for his well-being. Ken Russell's Altered States evokes a metaphysical vibe right from the beginning, where by the end of the movie, viewers are questioning things as far back as the world's creation billions of years ago. It's a thought-provoking watch that subtly boosts the human ego by letting them think they can wrestle against any force, no matter how large and unknown it is. The movie contains great dialogues during specific sequences accompanied by breathtaking visuals. Popular opinion entails that Russell and his team's intention was to overwhelm viewers with an excessively sensual aura. Russell mixes the sci-fi and horror genres so perfectly that one doesn't overpower the other. It is more than 100 minutes of visual pyrotechnics and apocalyptic sexuality blended with a handful of psychological horror. It isn't ghosts or zombies that will be scaring the wits out of you, but instead the psychedelic effects occurring in the brain, making you question human existence. Deep Space, 1988. A secret satellite containing a biological weapon crashes near Los Angeles after the U.S. military loses control of it. The weapon escapes the site and begins terrorizing local citizens. Lieutenant Mick Lamore is assigned to stop the creature before it breeds more chaos. Deep Space, directed by Fred Olen Ray, is an entertaining sci-fi horror movie that incorporates a cops and robbers format, albeit replacing the robbers with extraterrestrials. Despite its obvious schlocky demeanor, it is a cute alien ripoff with a bunch of great one-liners that will make audiences laugh. Charles Napier does a good job of playing Lieutenant Mick Lamore, alongside a few appearances by the gorgeous Julie Newmar. Furthermore, it contains several thrilling and fast-paced action sequences combined with gooey, over-the-top special effects. It has a set of hilarious dialogues that might often distract viewers from the horror of it all. Nevertheless, Deep Space is self-aware and must be watched for its enjoyment and entertainment value. Fred Olen Ray proves you don't have to resort to trashy gore and nudity to attract a cult following. This is one worth watching on a drunken night with friends. Phantoms, 1998. Dr. Jennifer Paley and her sister Lisa travel to a small ski resort in Snowfield, Colorado. There they discover that no one is alive, just many corpses. The sisters suspect that the culprit is a serial killer on the loose, but weirdly enough, they don't find any blood around the bodies. Moreover, they also see no signs of struggle. Soon the sisters encounter the town sheriff, Bryce Hammond, a former FBI agent. While investigating the murders, Hammond and his deputy bring in additional assistance from an academic who theorizes that the town has been struck by the Ancient Enemy, an age-old entity that appears within civilizations from time to time and wipes them out. It was the Ancient Enemy that was responsible for wiping out the Mayans and Roanoke Island colonists. Based on the novel by Dean Koontz, Joe Chappelle's Phantoms first and foremost succeeds in charming people with its ominous vibe and element of mystery. It builds up significant tension and nerve-wracking fear without resorting to cheap humor. Moreover, watching a young Ben Affleck play the sheriff is undoubtedly a treat for many female viewers. The element of horror stays consistent throughout the picture without withering away, and though viewers might notice a mashup of themes borrowed from other films, Joe Chappelle succeeds in creating a whole new movie with high entertainment value to woo the audience. The second half of the movie sees additional outstanding performances by talent like Peter O'Toole and Rose McGowan. It contains decent special effects and a well-written script, courtesy of Dean Koontz himself, though he didn't incorporate many things from his novel into the movie. The storyline is unique and holds a powerful presence on screen that will immediately engage viewers.
Rocky, shoot it! Come on, get back! Come on, get up, let's go!
Keep moving. I'll catch up.
The Rift, 1990. An experimental submarine called Siren 2 is sent to locate Siren 1, tracing it to an underwater rift surrounded by toxic weed. After some polarity tricks, the Siren 2 surfaces into a cave where the crew discovers that the corporation that modified the subs has been experimenting with genetic engineering to develop a variety of mutations. The Rift, directed by Juan Piquer Simon, is a classic that is crafted like an underwater rendition of James Cameron's Aliens. It is a creature feature with a certain charm that will remind viewers of Robert Corman's icky sci-fi classics. Cinematographer Juan Marin adds his signature style by making the surroundings a cool blue with bright lighting. This is a fresh change from the usual splatterfests filled with red after a certain point in the movie. That's not to say that J.P. Simone doesn't include any gore. Like any horror flick from the 70s to the mid-90s, The Rift has its fair share of heads exploding and human beings transforming into seaweed. Overall, it might not be award-winning high art, but it contains a unique charisma that draws in a large viewership by being consistently entertaining. Dust Devil, 1992. A shapeshifter known as the Dust Devil by the locals arrives from the desert in search of his victims. His primary targets are those that are unloved and have lost everything in life. Wendy, who has ended her relationship with her husband, is driving around aimlessly when she gives a stranger a lift. Soon, bizarre things begin to occur at the same time that a local police officer is tracking down the killer. Though a shaman has warned him about the dangers of witchcraft, the officer intends to find the Dust Devil before he can wreak more havoc. Richard Stanley returns like the mind-blowing filmmaker he is with an extremely enigmatic blend of splatterfest and spaghetti western art house. Although this movie doesn't exactly qualify under the sci-fi genre, it is an instant cult classic highly recommended for everyone to watch. It is uniquely styled with Richard's flavor. He incorporates political and social preoccupations within the film, juxtaposing the magic with the materialism of South African politics. This provides the audience with more than enough thrills, action, and horror to look forward to as the Dust Devil searches for his next vulnerable prey. The film's opening sequence leaves viewers speechless as they enter a world of mysticism and ritual sacrifice. Dust Devil contains a non-linear storyline that focuses more on the atmosphere than the momentum in which the narrative progresses. Moreover, its tone is constantly shifting between a mysterious, dreamlike surrounding to incomprehensible reality. Overall, this incredible masterpiece by Stanley Richards is worth a watch. Whether it's science fiction or not, the horror is still deeply embedded within.
Get it. Get it out.
The Puppet Masters, 1994. After a strange flying saucer lands in the rural areas of Iowa, a man who runs a secret CIA facility investigates it with his agents Sam and Jarvis. Accompanied by biology specialist Dr. Mary Sefton, they discover that aliens have landed on Earth and will use their telepathic powers to control everyone and take over the planet. These ETs are slug-like creatures who attach themselves to people's backs and begin controlling their nervous system. Stuart Orm's The Puppet Masters, based on Robert A. Heinlein's work, is a stylish production that will remind you of an X-Files episode. It successfully builds up tension without resorting to props such as silly spaceships and laser guns. Its overall atmosphere is down to earth, focusing on paranoia caused by the slimy creatures. These monstrosities are built courtesy of their special effects. It is evident that Orm and his team put a lot of thought and imagination into designing the little guys and their internal systems. Although The Puppet Masters has some repetitive elements, Orm cleverly capitalizes on its gripping moments as more townsfolk become hosts of the parasite slugs. It might appear to be a tad schlocky, but it is overly entertaining if one keeps an open mind and is in the mood for some cheese. It is action-packed, portraying cool stunts and more creepy tentacles than anyone would like to see. Village of the Damned, 1995. After a mysterious blackout in Midwich, California, 10 women surprisingly find themselves pregnant upon awakening. These women include a virgin girl and a woman who hasn't been sexually active in a long time. All the females decide to have the children, and all the babies are born at the same time in a barn. The children grow up at an alarmingly fast rate, and their parents begin to notice peculiar traits within them, like a lack of conscience or individual personality. Moreover, the children contain eerie psychic abilities that sometimes end very violently and with severe consequences. John Carpenter's Village of the Damned presents an out-of-the-ordinary classic before viewers. Not only does it have a creative storyline based on John Wyndham's book The Midwich Cuckoos, but it also combines several human themes together to present a very sci-fi horror plotline. Although the first half is already fast-paced, once the children become sentient and show their traits, that's when the movie's real thrills begin. Carpenter's outstanding talent of instilling suspense, along with a deeply embedded social commentary, makes this one of the most engaging horror movies ever. He comments on people, and specifically children, developing an indifferent attitude towards violence as they grow up. Body Melt, 1993. In the suburbs of Pebbles Court, Holmesville, residents are being used as test subjects without their knowledge for the Vimuville pill, a supplementary diet additive that is expected to bring out the ultimate version of a healthy human being. A previous test subject tries to warn the townsfolk of the pill's harmful effects, which he is now experiencing, but is unfortunately killed by a growth of tentacles from his throat. When the residents take the pills, they undergo terrifying alterations like their flesh turning into liquid, tongues elongating, and stomachs exploding. Body Melt, directed by Philip Brophy, is a peculiar specimen of the sci-fi horror genre, containing slapstick gore that reminds viewers of Sam Raimi, Peter Jackson, and David Cronenberg's works. It plays on a satirical commentary about people who obsess about an extremely healthy lifestyle to the point where they would do anything, even take an unknown set of pills. It is a splatterfest with a 90s atmosphere that makes fun of GNC store customers. The narrative sets a tone for catastrophe right from the beginning, where viewers can anticipate that something ominous is coming their way. Incredible camera work has been performed for the film, portraying close-ups of Pebbles Court and then taking the next shot to a resident's letterbox. This provides a mysterious effect on the audience as they are informed without dialogue about the pill's significance in arriving free of charge. With such humorous, self-aware phrases like mind-enhanced and intra-phenomenological to subtly contribute satire, Body Melt is worth a watch.
If you guys enjoyed this video, give us a like, subscribe, and press that bell icon that will help you get notifications. We upload an awesome video every day. Have an amazing day ahead and stay safe.
Attention! Attention, Marco!